Few figures in Hollywood embody originality quite like Diane Keaton. Across 5 decades, she has become a cinematic icon, a woman whose quirky charm, fearless performances, and unshakable individuality reshaped the image of the modern American woman on screen. From Annie Hall's neurotic wit to The Godfather's quiet strength, from her impeccable comedic timing to her honest vulnerability, Keaton's work has etched a permanent mark on American culture. Diane Keaton was born Diane Hall on January 5, 1946, in Los Angeles, California. Her father, John Hall, was a civil engineer and real estate broker. Her mother, Dorothy DIANE Keaton, was a homemaker and amateur photographer. Diane would later adopt her mother's maiden name, Keaton, as her professional surname, a fitting tribute to a woman she has often described as her first muse. Keaton grew up in a middle-class household in Santa Ana, where her mother's creativity flourished. Dorothy's passion for documenting family life through photographs deeply influenced Diane's own artistic sensibilities. Even as a child, Keaton stood out, loud, curious, and unapologetically herself. She loved to perform, often singing and acting in school plays, already showing flashes of the eccentric confidence that would define her later work. After high school, she moved to New York City to study acting at the neighborhood playhouse, drawn to the energy and possibility of the stage, sense of personal boundaries and integrity. Even in an era defined by rebellion, Diane Keaton carved her own path. She didn't chase shock value. She chased authenticity. Keaton's big break came when she met Woody Allen, first starring opposite him on Broadway in Play It Again, Sam, 1969. Their chemistry was immediate, witty, awkward, and electric, and it carried seamlessly onto the screen when the play was adapted into a film in 1972. This collaboration sparked a series of films that defined 1970s American cinema and made Keaton a household name. But it was 1977's Annie Hall that changed everything. As a neurotic, free-spirited singer who charms and frustrates Allen's character in equal measure, Keaton became a cultural phenomenon. The role earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, but more importantly, it made her a symbol of individuality and empowerment. The film's breezy dialogue and offbeat humor mirrored Keaton's own personality so perfectly that many assumed Annie Hall was Diane Keaton, and in some ways she was. Her androgynous fashion in Annie Hall, oversized men's blazers, vest ties, and wide-legged trousers, revolutionized women's style. The look was inspired by Keaton's own wardrobe, and soon, women everywhere were imitating her signature mix of confidence and comfort. Vogue declared it a new language of fashion for modern women, and Keaton herself became an accidental style icon. Even as she dazzled audiences with her comedic brilliance, Keaton was proving her dramatic range. Her role as Kay Adams Corleone in the Godfather trilogy, 1972, 1974, 1990, showed a different side of her artistry, subtle, emotional, and deeply human. Playing the wife of Michael Corleone Al Pacino, she brought grace and quiet tension to one of cinema's greatest sagas. For many, Kay's emotional confrontation with Michael in The Godfather Part 2 remains one of Keaton's most unforgettable scenes, a chilling mix of heartbreak, disillusionment, and moral clarity. It cemented her as a performer who could balance vulnerability with strength, laughter with pain. The 1980s and 1990s saw Keaton take control of her own narrative. She moved beyond the shadow of her collaborations with Woody Allen and began working with directors like Warren Beatty, Nancy Meyers, and Francis Ford Coppola on projects that celebrated complex, independent women. In Red's 1981, she portrayed journalist Louise Bryant opposite Beatty's John Reed, earning another Oscar nomination for a powerful, nuanced performance. In Baby Boom, 1987, Keaton embodied the modern working woman, juggling career and motherhood in a story that felt decades ahead of its time. The film was both a commercial hit and a social commentary on the new realities women faced in the workforce. Once again, Keaton's natural warmth and authenticity made audiences feel seen. As Keaton entered her 50s and 60s, she refused to fade from the spotlight, and instead redefined what it meant to age in Hollywood. In Something's Gotta Give, 2003, she starred opposite Jack Nicholson as Erica Berry, a successful, single playwright who finds love later in life. The film was a massive success, and Keaton's performance earned her a 4th Oscar nomination, reminding the world that charisma and talent don't diminish with age. Her portrayal of Erica, witty, self-assured, and imperfect, resonated deeply with audiences, particularly women who rarely saw themselves represented so honestly on screen. Diane Keaton made middle age not just beautiful, but desirable, wrote the New York Times at the time. In the years that followed, Keaton continued to appear in popular films such as A Family Stone, 2005, Morning Glory, 2010, and Book Club, 2018, proving that her charm and comedic timing were timeless. Even as the industry evolved, she remained relevant, never trying to fit trends, but always standing comfortably in her own skin. Beyond acting, Keaton has also carved out an impressive career as a director, producer, author, and photographer. She directed the romantic comedy Heaven, 1987, and episodes of television shows, and her visual artistry has been showcased in several books, including Clown Paintings and House, a photographic exploration of architecture and design. Her love of photography and architecture stems from her mother's influence, and over the years, Keaton has become a passionate preservationist, investing in restoring historic homes in Los Angeles. She often says that bringing an old building back to life gives her the same satisfaction as creating a character. Both require patience, vision, and love for detail. Keaton has also penned several memoirs, including Then Again, 2011, a tender reflection on her relationship with her mother, and let's just say it wasn't pretty, 2014, an honest, funny, and self-deprecating look at aging and beauty standards. Her writing, much like her acting, is candid, humorous, and heartfelt, deeply human. Diane Keaton has never been married, and she's been open about her unconventional path in life. She's spoken candidly about love, independence, and the joys of motherhood. She adopted 2 children, Dexter and Duke, in the 1990s. For her, family was not about tradition, but about connection. Her personal philosophy, that life should be lived on your own terms, has inspired countless women. She once said, "I've never done things by the book. I like to surprise myself." That spirit of curiosity and spontaneity still defines her today. Even at 79, Keaton continues to be a vibrant presence in Hollywood and beyond. Whether she's sharing candid moments on social media, walking red carpets in her trademark hats and gloves, or championing creative causes, she radiates the same playful energy that made audiences fall in love with her half a century ago. Legacy and influence. Diane Keaton's influence transcends cinema. She represents authenticity, the courage to be yourself, to laugh at your own imperfections, and to live boldly. In a world that often pressures women to conform, she has remained defiantly individual. Her filmography, from The Godfather and Annie Hall to Something's Gotta Give and Book Club, spans generations. Each role is a testament to her range, wit, and empathy, but her legacy is larger than her performances. It's her attitude, her refusal to be boxed in by expectations, her sense of humor about life's absurdities, and her unshakable confidence in her own eccentricities. When asked once how she wanted to be remembered, Keaton laughed and said, "As someone who tried to have a good time." And perhaps that's the truest measure of her genius. Diane Keaton has turned simply being herself into an art form,